Destination mark.
Oh my god, already here we are again celebrating another 20th anniversary for another platforming franchise I love so much. Hey guys, how's it going? Marcelo here, and here we are, Spyro's 20th anniversary. I feel really freaking old because I still have vivid memories of playing the first game as a kid, playing all three of the original games as a kid, just growing along with the franchise. We'll get into that in the next video. This is the first of two videos celebrating Spyro's 20th, to the top 20. So I ran a poll on Twitter a few months ago saying what kind of a top 10 do you guys want me to do on favorites? Favorite something, favorite levels, favorite, I think it was challenges and stuff. Levels won out. But because now we're here at the 20th anniversary, I figured, well, let's turn it into a top 20 just in time for the big day. So, yeah, without further ado, let's not beat around the bush. This is the top 20 Spyro levels that are my favorites. So, let's do it. So I want to get this out of the way right off the bat. This list covers the whole trilogy, the original trilogy. So that being said, number 20 goes to Mystic Marsh from Spyro 2. The one word that comes to mind when I talk about this level or I play this level is quirky. The music is quirky, the NPCs are quirky. Some of the challenges are just weird and quirky. They stand out just for how ridiculous they are. Like when you have to get the professor's pencil, you have to like go on this weird, I don't even know what you would call it, not so much I guess a hunt, some kind of weird hunt where you're taking like a seed and you have to put it here and then you go and get like a egg, put it in a nest, and there's a bunch of weird stuff you have to do just to get a pencil for that challenge. And then like tracking down, like chasing down those, what are they, like dingo dudes? I don't know what the hell they are, but those guys who, they're worse than the thieves. I remember that. I remember not really raging as a kid, but being like, yeah, I don't like these guys because they're just, I don't like their paths that they take and stuff, and there's multiple of them for this singular mission. So, yeah, but again, the NPCs are just weird looking, and just everything about it. They look really cool though, and the whole place is one of the smaller levels in the game, but there's a lot to do still, and there's a lot of little details. Like, okay, so for example, with that pencil mission, all the little things like the pot for the plant, the pot for the, like the cauldron for like the little stew or whatever that's right there, all of that stuff, and the nest and all that are there, so you can just wander around the level without activating that mission, and you can see them there, but you might not really know what they're used for until you do that mission, and then you're like, oh, okay, now I see what I have to do with these things all around the level. So it's there for like just weird little aesthetic detail, but then it plays into that particular challenge, so that's cool. But yeah, oh, the platypus guys too, those pufferfish platypus things are like just the weirdest enemies. I remember being weirdly off-putted by them as a kid, not like afraid of them or anything, but just when they would puff up, I would spend time underwater just staring at them being like, why do you function like this? Why are you two fish in one? But yeah, that's number 20, Mystic Marsh. Good level. Number 19 goes to Charmed Ridge from Spyro 3. There's not a whole lot I like off the top of my head remember from this level, but I remember the music. I remember the whole point of the level is to, I think, get to like this princess, but then she's running off and getting married with this like biker dude, and they like fly off into the sunset on his freaking magic ass motorcycle. It's weird. That part I definitely remember. It also is home to one of the more kind of annoying Sergeant Byrne missions where you have to go and get those cat witches on the broomsticks, and especially the third phase of that gets on under people's skin. For me, it kind of did as well. The cat wizard enemies in general though were pretty memorable. So there's still stuff I remember from it and I do appreciate about it, but it kind of doesn't go really beyond that, which is why it's here on the list. So this was a short one, but Charmed Ridge still has a lot of charm, and it's cool. Also, that seed mission was pretty kind of dragged on a little bit, but worth mentioning, I guess. Number 18 goes to Terrace Village from Spyro 1. It was actually a challenge whether or not to put this one or Misty Bog up on this number, because I like all the Beastmakers levels, but seeing as Terrace Village is the first one that's presented to you, you don't have to do them in the order that they're presented to you in, but because it's the first one that it's presented, to you, I like it a lot. It's just a very chilled out kind of a level. The music is very chill, and it kind of introduces you to these crazier, weirder enemies that are very electrical based, and a lot of them are cool. Like the little dudes, they're in their little like metal tank looking whatever armor dealios, and you hit them and they go ugh! Like just their sound effect is really funny. And the big dudes, they look like punk rocker guys, and we saw them in Reignited Trilogy, but not actually like in action yet. But they look really cool. Like I like their big packs on their back, and they just start shocking you with their thing. So that's awesome. Beastmakers has some really cool designed enemies, and Terrace Village isn't one of the bigger Beastmakers levels, but it still has some of its like little crevices that you have to like kind of find, or little secrets there, and it uses the textures to its advantage, and how it can hide like stairs and stuff in plain view, but yet you kind of have to move the camera around to see them. So that's really cool. So it's still a good level. I like it a lot. Yeah, Terrace Village. Number 17, Breeze Harbor from Spyro 2. You already know why. There is a lot to like about this level. Speaking about Beastmakers from the last number, I like how this one brings back those kind of howling vocal sound effects that were in the Beastmakers homeworld music from the last game. And here, there's a lot, like I said, to like about this level. The little guys in their buckets that go ugh when you hit them. Again, lots of funnier sound effects. The Breeze builders themselves just are voiced by the guy who did Greg Berger, the actor who does Hunter and Ripto. And then you get that famous line,
"Trouble with the trolley, eh?"
And the mission itself is, well, everyone doesn't like it for a reason. Okay, it's kind of harsh to say. It's not like it's a very tough challenge, but the more you mess up, the more he says that line, the more it gets on your nerves. So that's why it's kind of a bittersweet kind of a challenge where like you like it, but then you might not like it because of how many times you hear that line and for how many times you fuck up. So there's that. But no, Breeze Harbor has also those little, as a kid I remember those little it was 8 of them, I think. There's the little, I don't know what they're called, I don't remember if they have a name, but the little spiky ball dudes that just kind of hang there and have these weird faces. I want to see what they look like in Reignited. Again, kind of like what the platypus pufferfish from Mystic Marsh, I would kind of just stop and look at these guys for their designs. There were times where I did that a lot as a kid, just looking at the enemy designs. Some of them that just kind of caught my interest back then as a kid. Like I would just stop and look at them and just be like, they look weird. So there's that. Yeah, I like this level a lot, and this level crosses over into Zephyr for being this war between the Breeze builders and what do they call it? I think the Land Lubbers or something, or Land Blubbers or something like that. So there's this faction war going on in these two levels. So you help the Breeze builders in Breeze Harbor, and then you help out the Land Blubbers in Zephyr, and it's just really cool just to see that much detail going into that even from back then. So they're going to keep that up in Reignited, and it's going to be really cool. But of the two of those levels, for having this kind of a similar-ish theme, I still have to give it to Breeze Harbor. There's just a lot more memorable stuff there. And trust me, there's a lot more in Zephyr too, and Zephyr was going to make the list at some point, but don't expect it here. Unfortunately, I'm sorry, but this one won out. So, Breeze Harbor. Number 16 goes to Scorch from Spyro 2. Just another... Autumn Plains has so many freaking levels in it, so there's a lot that did come from that homeworld for anything on this list that's from Spyro 2. Just so you know right now. Scorch, though, again, it was another tough choice between this one, because they have similar-ish themes, Scorch and Shady Oasis. And Shady Oasis definitely made the list at one point. But overall Scorch won out because there's just, again, more memorable stuff. You got Handel and Greta, and they're funny. And then they did kind of creep me out with their freaking red eyes and the ending to that level. But you got Bombo and you got all of that. Having to help Hunter with the monkeys. The dudes with their freaking cannons, like little cannonballs they shoot at you. The dudes with the scimitars, the camels. Like, there's just so much that once you hear Scorch, Spyro 2, you think of all these things. So that's why I like it. Very short, very, very, very short, but it's awesome. Got another harbor. Number 15 is Twilight Harbor from Spyro 1. Coming at the very end of the game. It's the last, regular level you play in the first game, and it's in Nasty's homeworld, and it really tests your skills with your reaction skills, because you've got these Norks that come out with their artillery and these guns, real freaking guns, and they have like grenades and fucking machetes, and they're like going all Rambo on you. It's nuts, and it's really, really cool. And you're like going through this harbor with these like warships and shit, and like it's amazing. And the way they shoot their bullets at you, it's like in the spread, so you have to make sure you time your jumps right over them and then go and kick their ass. And it's tough. It's really tough, especially when they put a lot of them in a room. There's a couple times when they do that. And you got guys with grenades, big Norks with those guns, small Norks with those kinds of guns that shoot more in a straight line. It's hard to dodge a lot of that stuff in moments. So not only that, but you get your last bit of supercharge in that level. The music's amazing. The sunset background looks awesome. So it's really cool. I like it a lot. And seeing as they've been changing a lot for Reignited. And we're seeing, I have never reported on this actually, but it's been confirmed through the ESRB of all things that because the game is getting an E10, part of that description is that the Nork booty is being preserved. That being said, I'm kind of hoping that they rethink the whole thing where they're going to use like paint guns or something for the Norks in Twilight Harbor, and kind of find a way to make the guns and whatnot and the bullets or missiles, whatever they have for them, cartoony, but still keep that kind of pseudo-realistic effect where it's like, no, they've got artillery, they're really ramping up their weaponry at this point. It was just cool and unexpected to see that when you were a kid playing this. So to kind of preserve that for the kids of now, I know it's different for the kids of now because of all the real world stuff that's been happening, but I'm not gonna get into that. Just, it's a different time than it was 20 years ago. So I get why things have to be changed, stuff like that. I promised myself I wasn't going to talk about this stuff. Anyway, Twilight Harbor is awesome. Here's my friend Jeremiah's reaction to the guns.
These Norks are amazing.
Was that a fucking gun?
Number 14 goes to Alpine Ridge, again from Spyro 1. The first level presented to you in Magic Crafters. I, again, love all the levels of Magic Crafters. It was really hard to pick some of these out, but Alpine Ridge is really awesome. Again, I love the music, I love the enemies. They have these, this level is made up of many isolated islands, so you're flying and gliding a lot in this level, and just being able to have the ability to do that, again, seeing as this game was the first one to get away with that at the time, and really pull it off fluidly and well. It felt nice to just glide around, and seeing as there were moments where you just absolutely had to do that to traverse certain levels like this, it felt great. So like, seeing as there were like hidden islands over wherever that you couldn't get to unless you really thought about, oh, I have to find a higher up and then glide from that higher up, and then I can get there. So stuff like that is really cool. So yeah, Alpine Ridge. There's not much to say, but I love it a lot, so yeah. Number 13 goes to Desert Ruins from Spyro 3. It was tough to find a Midnight Mountain level for this list. I think this one's the only one as well, but Desert Ruins is one that really stuck out to me as a kid. I loved it a lot, mainly for the aesthetic. It kind of has that Romanish, more Trojan aesthetic, but it kind of, for me, harkened back to the actual like Roman setting from Sunny Villa. So it's just like a kind of a throwback, harkening back to the beginning of the game. But here, just with the stone structures and the statues that have just been buried in the sand, and they are ruins in this desert, so the name fits. And having the big hands like this that you can just glide from, and having the big heads that are just there and buried in the sand, it was really cool. And then having, the music kicks ass too, but having these metal structures that you couldn't really touch because of those enemies. Now those enemies, I don't know what they are or what they're called. They look really cool though. They're my favorite enemy actually in this level, and probably one of my favorite enemies in general for Spyro 3. They're really cool. I remember again just kind of staring at them, being like, "What the hell are you?" as a kid. But they look really cool, and they stuck out to me a lot. And of course, we can't forget the cameo, Tara Croft. I like how Crash 3 and Spyro 3 got away with a Tomb Raider reference, but Spyro 3 is just way more not subtle. Seeing as some of our dialogue even is like, "I went and I raided a tomb, and now you want to take all my shit from me." She says, "I raided this tomb." Not subtle at all. Plus, if you pay attention close enough, she has the exact same animation for talking as Bianca does for some reason. I don't know why they did that, but so she's pretty memorable for just being a weird cameo reference. The aesthetics and the visuals are very memorable for this area. The crabs and those, again, metal enemies are really memorable for this area. The music is memorable as well, so just in general, this is a really memorable stage for me as a kid and even now, so I like it a lot. Desert Ruins. I apologize for being really sweaty and looking like I'm hot, because it's really hot in here. Number 12 goes to Clifftown from Spyro 1. Clifftown's awesome. Again, a lot of the same reasons. For all of these levels for the most part. Love the music, love the enemies. This was the introduction to the big mama characters that just kind of slap you away. They don't hurt you for doing that, but they slap you away, and it's really funny. It's one of those levels that also introduces the fact that you have to really look around buildings and glide to behind buildings, and just it's a gliding stage. Really only in one big moment where you think, "Oh, I can't go way out there," but then when you get to the high point, even the dragon you save there tells you, "Hey, go over there, you can do that," and it's just really fun. It's fun to watch newcomers who do Let's Plays and stuff, they're blind for the first game, and get to moments like this where they can go, "Oh shit, I can go out there." It's just really cool. So yeah, another short one, but I like this level a lot out of all of the ones from Peacekeepers, so this one goes to Clifftown. Just saw this one in Reignited Trilogy. It looks amazing. Number 11 goes to Sunny Villa from Spyro 3. I'm going to say this right now, all of the first levels from each of these games are in this list. Here's the first one. Sunny Villa is such a freaking great first stage, and just peppy music, catchy music. Enemies that aren't too tough to defeat. There's not even a whole lot of enemies in this level to begin with. The main area to just traverse around is very small, and you don't have to glide really anywhere, but to get all the gems and see everything that there is to see, you do have to do some gliding, and to get all the eggs as well in the level, you have to do a lot of gliding. Then of course you got the skateboarding area, and that's just the staple for Spyro. That was Spyro 3's theme. It's on all the advertisements. It's one of the biggest things that Reignited's pushing it to. You can skateboard in Spyro 3, and the very first level introduces you to it. So that's awesome. Yeah, Sunny Villa is super kick-ass. I like it a lot. So you also, if you don't really if you rush to that level first and don't really explore Sunrise Spring, then you won't really see Sheila until you do some gliding and see that you can, there's a little room, it's blocked off, but you see the little post that's got her face on it. So it tells you, oh hey, you're gonna be playing as other characters too, and Sheila's the first one. So you get a sneak peek there before you actually see her in the homeworld if you don't actually explore the homeworld first. So it's a good introductory level for letting you in on just the same Spyro goodness you got from the last two games, but there's even more. That's awesome. Number 10 is another Spyro 3 level, Fireworks Factory. This is pretty much everyone's favorite level for the most part. A lot of people will say that it is, for many reasons. Again, kick-ass music. Again, love the aesthetic. Some of the challenges are really cool. I really like the dragon challenge. Now, these dragons are weird. This is where Spyro's lore and fucking culture and shit gets all weird, because it's like you've got dragons that are, for the most part, quadrupeds like Spyro. You've got dragons that are always on their hind legs like the elder dragons. Then you got these weird dudes who are just flying around, have no legs or arms whatsoever, and they want to kill you. And they have segmented bodies where you have to super flame their ass, and they get smaller and smaller until you kill them. It's weird. I don't know. But anyway, it could be like something from the Sorceress. I don't know, some bullshit like that. But yeah, Fireworks Factory is really cool. The ninjas are super memorable, and it's one of the main themes that they're pushing also in Reignited for Spyro 3. We haven't seen it yet at the time of this recording, but we might soon. I don't know. It's one of the things that is represented on the final box art. You see the little ninja Rhinoc just kind of doing a pose. Plus, one of the main buildings from Fireworks Factory is there. And Fireworks Factory is the main menu little area, so that's cool. Yeah, kick-ass level, kick-ass music, kick-ass challenges. It's awesome. And kick-ass. Number 9 is Fracture Hills from Spyro 2. Again, just another Autumn Plains level, but I like this one a lot. It reuses the same music as Idle Springs, but I don't mind that. I keep hearing that there was supposed to be an alternate song playing in that level to differentiate it music-wise from Idle Springs. It's like those are the only, I think, 2 levels, at least in Spyro 2, that reuse the same music. I could be wrong on that. I'm trying to think right now. I don't know. But anyway, so Fracture Hills is really cool. You get the freaking Earth Shapers, who are bitches. You get the infamous alchemist mission, which is, oh god. It's actually not that hard when you get used to it, but newcomers have raged a lot. I've seen it. It's hilarious. And even some vets still rage at it. It's not fun, but it's not always enjoyable. let's put it that way, I suppose. But the level in itself has a lot of tricky secrets. Getting used to the supercharge in Spyro 2, like in general, is very odd because it doesn't follow the traditional. Spyro 3 went back to the way supercharge was in Spyro 1. Spyro 2 did a lot of experimenting with the power-ups and stuff, so you don't get arrows on the floor, you kind of just have to follow a path that's like marked. Mind you, it's better integrated into the world, the way they kind of push you to use the supercharge and where you can take it, but then you're kind of like, you're not on a very obviously set path, so you're kind of just like, oh shit, where am I going? And it can get kind of annoying for people at times. I understand that. So that being said, though, regardless, the Fawns, they're hilarious. The Satyrs and their fucking bagpipe music is amazing. There's a lot of memorable stuff in this one, and they brought back the bushes that scared the fuck out of people from the first game that just pull and just chomp you. So, and they added trees that do the same thing, and they've got fucking bees. So, yeah, there's a lot that's memorable from this one, whether you want to remember it or not. Fracture Hills. Number 8 is Frozen Altars from Spyro 3. I love this one. It's very unique in that it's got Bentley Boxing, another not fun minigame, but one that people are like, yeah. So there's that. Spyro 2 and 3 has a lot of those moments. Spyro 1 really just has a level we'll get to later in the list, but for this one, memorable, the snowman that fucking just shakes the shit out of you. You got the penguins that have got their voice, that's Tom Kenny doing the voices for all of them. There's a lot that's with the little woolly mammoth guys with the... Okay, here's one thing I wanted to talk about. The fact that I did not know this for some time until actually quite recently, but the dudes that throw the coal at you, if you get rid of their coal, they have nothing to attack you with, and they won't attack you with anything. They'll just moon you. I didn't know they brought the mooning back in Spyro 3. I saw that and I was like, what? they kept that. I thought because it was so controversial from the first one that they even got away with that. They were like, yeah, that was our early installment weirdness. We're not gonna do that again in the sequels. No, they got away with it in the third game, which I was unaware of. But there's that. But I say unique mainly. Oh, before I get to that, also the mini games in this one have that going for it, where it's like you remember them because they annoy you. But not only is there Bentley boxing, there's the fucking can hockey. Okay, that one was annoying. I don't like that one. The can hockey annoyed the shit out of me as a kid. I have vivid memories of that. But okay, so besides that, why this level is unique is because this is the only level to give you not fire breath. You get ice breath, and they give you this, and you're able to freeze enemies. Now, in my opinion, it's an awesome mechanic, and it's something that's really cool. Only used in this one stage, so there's two things I have to say about that. The first one being, they probably could have used it in more areas in the game besides just this level. Like they introduce it in this level, but then use it like in another one later down the road. Also, technically, this is not the first level, now that I think about it, to do this. Cloud Temples did it in Spyro 2 as well, but it's through a power-up gate and you only keep it for a certain time. Here it's for the whole level and every time you're in this level, so there's that. But yeah, like I was saying, I'm thinking it could have been cool if they introduced the mechanic here in Frozen Altars and then kind of used it in other levels throughout Spyro 3. But that would kind of take the uniquity away from this level, being the only one that does it. So it can be forgiven for that. And yet the other kind of quote-unquote issue, because I don't really care that it's not, fully implemented to its full degree, but if it were, that would have made it so much cooler. Because there's moments where even the NPCs are like, you can get to that treasure, but you need something to stand on. And so naturally, you freeze that guy. Now that's funny. There aren't a whole lot of moments like that where like you can use the enemies. You only just freeze them to then knock and charge into the ice and defeat them that way. There's not even any fire-based enemies that are just full of fire and you just can't touch them whatsoever. They could have done that. They could have gotten away with that. Actually, there were guys like that in Spyro 2! In Skell's Badlands! We'll get to that later. So there's that. Like, they could have brought those guys back just straight up, or created a whole new enemy type that was just fully fire. The only thing that comes close to having anything fire-related in this snow world is that the guys have their coals. That's about it. So, I think the power-up could have been utilized more. But it's unique in the fact that they even decided to do that here in the first place. So, I went pretty far off on this one, but it's such a cool level, and it gets you thinking about stuff like that. The minigames suck, whatever. Yeah, Frozen Altars. Oh hey, number 7 is Skell's Badlands from Spyro 2. The fire guys, they look cool. We've only seen a glimpse of them in Reignited in the key art, so hopefully we get to see them in full at some point. Skell's Badlands is also where the main menu takes place, so that's cool. Awesome music, awesome NPCs, really funny NPCs. You get the little skeleton friend, you have to go find his bones. He's hilarious. I really want to see his dance moves translated into Reignited. Please, no modern shit. Don't make the fucker dab. Please, no dumb crap like that. Don't do Fortnite dances in Spyro Reignited Trilogy. I digress. Anyway, he's cool though. The Lava Lizard Challenge, you got that, the two-parter. Again, just one of those ones where like you can kind of enjoy it. It's not really a hard concept to get into, but executing it is pretty fucking so there's that. I like the aesthetic a lot. Just the desert aesthetic isn't one of my like absolute top favorites, but it's definitely up there. So I like this one a lot, and it's cool. Not much to say about it, but yeah. Number 6 goes to Sheila's Alp from Spyro 3 of, let me center myself, of all the other playable characters and their main worlds you can go to get a feel of how they control. Sheila's is the first one, but I love it. I love it a lot. Just controlling her in general is really cool. and I can't wait for it in Reignited. Hearing the music, just the didgeridoos and all that stuff reminds me of Crash. That's already got an A+ in my book. Just how chill the music is too. Just how chill it is in general. It's really nice like tone for Sheila. And the goats are funny as hell, and they're very like destructive, and they want to like have you break eggs open and like cook them or some shit, or they want to play pranks on each other. Like, they're fucking savage. but in like a lighthearted kind of way. So it makes me wonder, like, do you have any internal conflicts you're getting out there? That's weird. But no, they're cool though. Just playing as Sheila again with her moveset. This is where it's the starter, so you can get used to it here. You can go back to Sunny Villa and then do that mission as well. But a lot of verticality. There's a lot of jumping and stuff, and like high jumping and stuff like that, which makes for some cool secrets. Yeah, like it a lot. That's why it's on this part of the list. Okay, the top 5. Treetops from Spyro 1. Treetops is notorious, and like I was saying with Alpine Ridge, there are levels that are built specifically for you to just glide around, and it's not as easily navigatable, if that's not a word, I'm making it up now, than the easier levels are that just are kind of flat-planed, they're chill. This one is very notorious for being just literally trees. Like, you're exploring the tops of trees and inside trees, and it's its own little village too. Like, it has this theme of like, it's a woodlands area, but you know, it's got like a villagey theme to. There's huts, there's homes there, and you've got these cool, these nicely designed enemies there. And they look really awesome, and you got 2 thieves that just kind of run around, and they're different colors. It introduces different colored thieves. So there's a lot there that's memorable about off the bat. The music is essentially a slightly altered, faster-paced version of Hype Cave's music, but it's still really cool to hear. When you hear that it's faster-paced and it has a little bit more percussion kind of to it, you get it if you're a vet. It's fucking Treetops. And it's, of course, home to one of the trickiest. There's 2 very, very tricky supercharge segments / challenges in Spyro 1, and this is the first, and it's very notorious. So with that being said, it's very fun to try and watch newcomers try and do it and watch them rage at it. Like, I don't know, as a vet, there's joy in that, I guess, and it's really funny. But Treetops is really cool, very memorable for a lot of reasons. So yeah, that's why it's at number 5. Number 4 goes to Glimmer from Spyro 2. Again, another example of the first level in one of the games is being represented here. So, just the music is what plays. Skelos Badlands is what's showing visually on the main menu, but this song, Glimmer's music, is what plays in the main menu, so that's awesome. But Glimmer is very memorable for just being, again, not a big level. It's actually pretty chill. The music is really cool. The gem cutters are there, and they're really cute, so they're just really funny. And Moneybags, just right off the bat, you got Moneybags, and he's pretty tame for starters, but then he gets a lot more just greedy and shit later. You get introduced to Zoe and just all the new characters that you didn't see at all in Spyro 1. Most of them are here off the bat for you to see if they weren't in a cutscene prior. So there's that. Not a lot to say really, because it's just, again, it's really chill. You get the little lizards you get to shoot rocks at, that's awesome. Plus you can cheese that indoor lantern part if you're clever enough. Hopefully they keep that in Reignited. They probably won't, but they might, you never know. So yeah, Glimmer, awesome. And now get ready, because the next 3 are all Spyro 1. So here we go. Number 3 goes to Stone Hill. So like I said, here are now all 3 of the first levels from each game. Stone Hill I love to death. It's one of the levels. It gives me a lot of great memories. I have a lot of memories from it from back in the day. Again, a really intuitive, good first level to start players off. Newcomers or vets alike, just because it's very small in terms of, you've got a branching path left, branching path right, but if you just go straight down the middle, you'll get to the end of the level in like 3 seconds. But there is so much around that you can do, and seeing as this is one of the first games out of, it's like the third technically, kind of a big platformer game after Banjo and after Mario 64 that shows here's what you can do, here's where you can go. That being said, you can just go right down the middle and get to the end of the level, but there is so much for you to check out. Go check it out. And there are secrets, of course, so discovering the beach behind the end gate down below, I have memories of that. My affections for the little blue thief, my love for him, I love him. He looks creepy as shit in Reignited, but I love him in the first game. He's blue. I love blue, my favorite color. So just his little voice and having to chase his ass down. Memories. So many memories of that. And seeing the force fields too, just messing with the force fields and being like, oh, I can get up here, and this was supposed to be out of bounds, but it's not. That's cool. So finding that out was a revolution in and of itself. But then seeing as there were actual invisible walls, but they were implemented in this way of, it's a force field, I'm like, that's cool. So there's a lot. There's a lot from Stonehill to like, and it's just very intuitive because it shows you all you can do and what you can do, and it's just a great starter level. So yeah, Stonehill. God, it's so fucking hot, I'm getting worse by the minute. Number 2 goes to Lofty Castle. Go back to the beginning of the video first and check out how I look there, and then just see the progression where, oh, I hate filming in the summer. I'm so glad it's almost over. So, Lofty Castle is number 2, because if you just were like, okay, hey, name a level that wasn't a boss that you just fucking love in Spyro 1, Lofty Castle is definitely up there. The music, the reference within the music, I'll play the vid games. I talked about it on vid games, I'll play that right here. So I like that reference that Stuart Copeland snuck in there, and just how dreamlike it is. I mean, it is in Dreamweavers. How dreamy it is. How just floaty. Again, you're going off of islands and gliding to islands, going through a castle and stuff like that. So I love it. I love it. And then seeing it for what little we've seen of it in Reignited so far, it's looking amazing. And seeing as we got just the tiniest glimpse of it in that first reveal trailer, and then seeing other gameplay of it later down the road, like, they improved it a lot. So I want to see the actual full level now, and I'm thinking it's going to be really awesome. So seeing as Dreamweavers, has its theme of the good dreams and the nightmares, Dark Passage is most definitely a nightmare stage, but Lofty Castle is definitely one of those good dream stages, and it just feels really nice to go around, and again, the music really heightens the atmosphere. And you get the fairies with a different, it was the first level to introduce, and I think it might be the only one actually, to introduce different colored whirlwinds. They put otherly particle effects in there that were different colors, and to me that blew my mind, just to see, you see something, when something's established in a game, this could be for anything, mechanics and whatnot, and it looks a certain way, acts a certain way, and then you get a kind of a remix of it later. Like, to me, that's really cool to see like something evolve like that and kind of throw you for a loop, even if it's as small as a visual change. But the whirlwinds getting that multicolored look to them in Lofty Castle, for some reason, just because they were fairy generated, I guess, I liked it a lot. I thought it was really cool as a kid, and I still do now, of course. So like, those kinds of things are really cool. The level itself is just hella kick-ass. So not much to say. You get the little freaking demon guys in there. I think they were, no, Dark Passage was where they were introduced. They come back in Lofty Castle, assuming that you go to Dark Passage first. It's the first one presented to you. But yeah, that being said, Lofty Castle, not one of the toughest ones, but definitely up there as a great one. So, thumbs up for everyone. Oh hey, so I mentioned a little thing in the last number about, oh well, if you don't have a favorite, that's not a boss. This is the only boss level that I'm mentioning. So from Spyro 1, my number one favorite Spyro level from the whole trilogy is Toasty's level, and there's a big reason why. Toasty is not a hard villain to beat, not a hard boss. But he's the first one, I would hope he's not. But that was the moment where I was like, this game's amazing. Because, as like a little kid. Because I remember playing that, I showed off the demo, that demo on the Jam Pack disc, seeing that big dragon head there was so much build up without really making it obvious. But seeing as, I think, I forget his name, but the dragon that's there that tells you whether or not you are, ready enough, aka the player needs to collect a few dragons or at least beat one level first before facing Toasty. I think he's the only one with alternate dialogue like that. I think, because if you go up to him right off the bat, he'll say you're not ready. If you do a couple levels or at least get a few dragons first, then go back to him, he'll be like, okay, you are ready. And just seeing that big dragon head there with the smoke coming out of the nostrils, I was like, oh my god, like it's crazy. It looks threatening almost in a way, and to see that that's what the boss is, I was like, okay. And then when you get there and you have enough of whatever you need, when it opens up and it makes that kind of noise, you're like, okay, I'm ready for this. And it just had this impression on me. It left this impression on me, and it's a really great memory that I have being a kid and just seeing that and being like in awe about it. Like some people might have been probably scared of the big dragon head. But I never was. I thought it was really cool, and the music really kicking it up, being atmospheric, sounding threatening, and outside of Town Square, because Town Square does this, but very more subtly. This track for the music for Toasty fully embraces the sampling of the main menu music, the dun 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 dun. That is sampled heavily in Toasty's music, but it was done first in Town Square. But it makes it feel triumphant. Like that's Spyro's part of the music. Like the whole overall creepiness of it is Toasty, foreboding, threatening. You haven't even seen the dude yet. This is the first you get to see that this game has not arenas but levels. Like the bosses have their own levels, and that was really cool to see as a kid. And having the impending doom sounding freaking having that sound to the music was like, okay. But then having Spyro's theme just blare out triumphantly was like, that's his part, that's the player's part. Because I don't know, I'm going too far into it, but that's the impression I got about it, and that's what made it so cool to me as a kid. And you got the dogs there, and they were fucking threatening. And you got more shepherds, you didn't see them outside of Stone Hill. So you've got the first ever level, if you go there, it's the first one presented to you, that has those guys, but then they make a reprisal, they return in the boss level. And something about that, just when you, like I said, when you have motifs, returning enemies or otherly elements, and you start remixing those kinds of elements later on in the game, whether it's a couple levels down the road or worlds down the road, I like that a lot. I like it. And so Toasty did that for me, and just seeing that he was a sheep, and even just his design as a scarecrow just looked really badass. He is one of my favorite bosses in Spyro, and his level is my favorite level of all time. So, yeah, plus the commercial. It was Toasty in the commercial, so that was awesome too. Alright, so my sweaty ass is done talking. What do you guys think of this top 20 list? What are your favorite levels? What are your favorite moments from those levels? This is all about us, not just me spewing out my favorites to you. Let me know in the comments down below. 20th anniversary for Spyro, happy 20th. We've got one more video, whether it comes out, I think, before this one, or it's supposed to come out after this one. Retrospective time. Stay tuned for that. I'm Marcelo, see you guys later. Take care.